Man, what an amazing direct we got this last direct, but of course, this video is being uploaded after some weeks have gone by, and yeah, I've been sitting around playing Banjo this whole time, and I gotta say, I really freaking like the Banjo character. I think he plays amazingly. Now, Banjo's a character I really, really wanted, but it's not because I grew up playing Banjo and Kazooie. In fact, I didn't play Banjo and Kazooie until I was in high school, and Banjo Kazooie came out when I was like in third grade or second grade or something. I just waited and waited because my older brother told me it wasn't that good of a game, and I wish he didn't tell me that. I think he told me that because he thought it looked like a kid's game, and he was more into PS1 games like Final Fantasy VII and Metal Gear Solid. I think he was just a PlayStation kid, and I was like a everything video game kid. I didn't care about the console war stuff, but yeah. I never played Banjo until much later, but the reason I wanted him in the game is because I had some friends who were into him and really wanted him to be in the game, and said it was their favorite platformer of all time. Which I always thought was Mario 64, and a lot of people would tell me, no, Banjo-Kazooie's better. And I played it on my friend's Xbox 360 when it came out on the Xbox Live Arcade, and of course now you can play it on Xbox One. And I own it on Xbox One technically because I have Rare Replay, but I've never played it on the Xbox One. But either way, I gotta say, yeah, it is a really good game. It handles really well, cameras really well. The game itself is fun in general. It's a good platformer, and I knew just from watching gameplay, watching Let's Plays, watching John Oni plays and Game Grumps and whoever plays Banjo and Kazooie that I would end up really liking that character in Smash because he's got a really cool move set that lends itself perfectly to a game like Smash. And when some people bring up characters like Crash Bandicoot, I feel like people just say that because they really, really like mascot characters, and I can't tell if they're disingenuous or not because I really don't think people idolize Crash Bandicoot as their favorite video game icon. To me, I always loved Sonic, and I grew up playing Sonic and Crash Bandicoot. But I would say there's no question that Sonic is way more important and special to me than a character like Crash Bandicoot is. And so I really idolize characters like, Snake from Metal Gear Solid and Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. I also, with a few other characters from different Final Fantasy games like Terra and Edgar and Sabin. I love those guys from 6. But I also really like, a lot of the characters who are in the game already. And I've never really, I always thought like Smash was doing a good job because again I also grew up playing games like Sonic and Mega Man, like I also said. So like to me, a lot of the coolest gaming icons are in Smash now, and I would not really consider Crash on that level for me. Same with Spyro, even though I loved playing those games growing up. To me it wasn't really like I didn't like idolize them and love them and draw those character designs and stuff like that. And I just don't know if to me, even though I didn't grow up with Banjo, to me, just seeing the gameplay of it and seeing, how that character would work, to me, it just seemed like a much better fit for Smash. I'm not even talking about, let's take away the fact that Banjo used to be on the N64, and let's just talk about the fact that Banjo, just who he is a good idea for Smash. To me, even if you take away the Nintendo aspect to it, Banjo just makes a lot of sense. Of course, because Shulk is in Smash 4, I think that if Rare was never sold to Microsoft, I think that if Rare was always owned by Nintendo, I think Banjo would definitely be in Smash 4. I think Banjo would have been put in Smash Brawl, and I think Conker probably would have been put in Smash 4. Like, no question. I think Rare characters would have been introduced in Brawl, and not in Melee, but in Brawl. And yeah, so this video, of course, is not about Banjo. It's about what happened when Banjo was added in and the implications that are now added in from including all the announcements from the last Direct. So first things first, the Mii costume theory has been completely destroyed and dismantled. Now I want this video to mainly focus on one specific thing. There was a lot of predictions and hype that Geno would be in Smash Ultimate before Smash Ultimate came out. A lot of people were also predicting Simon Belmont. And what we ended up seeing was that Simon Belmont and K. Rool were added in, just like a lot of people predicted. And the only last character that people were still predicting was Geno. Now, to me, Geno was a no-brainer. He should have been put in the game because to me, the big three of characters who were fan requested, who people really wanted in the game, who have history and ties to Nintendo that could have been put in Brawl, but for some reason weren't put in Brawl, it would be Ridley, K. Rool, and Geno. Now, they weren't added in Smash 4 either, and at least K. Rool and Geno got Mii costumes. Well, K. Rool had a Mii costume, and his character was put in Smash Ultimate. Geno got a Mii costume in Smash 4 as well, but where was his character in Smash Ultimate? It was nowhere to be found. Not only that, but the Mii costume is missing, and not even his Mii costume hasn't even come back now. When Sega Mii costumes like Tails and Knuckles were brought back, and Capcom Mii costumes like Proto Man Zero were brought back, and when a Square Enix character like Dragon Quest Hero was added in the game, his Mii costume is still nowhere to be found. And so far, Mii Costume 2, the Square Enix one, is the only one that hasn't had returning Mii costumes for that pack. And that's crazy because that's the Square Enix one. Now, the fact that Mega Man characters were brought back for Fighter Pass 3 is confusing because either this means Capcom is not getting in as the fifth character, or they are, and Mega Man just had to come out now. In my opinion, the fact that we had to wait this long for the Mega Man characters is crazy because Mega Man should definitely be in the game, and the Proto Man Mii Fighter costume is one I bought the day it came out because Proto Man just makes too much sense to not be included in the game. Like, he is the actual size of the Mii Gunner. Like, whenever you see Proto Man and Mega Man on screen together, they actually look around the same size. They look like they're from the same game, especially because the Mii helmet takes up most of the face, and because of that, Proto Man looks like Proto Man. He doesn't look like a Mii wearing a Proto Man costume. Whereas, like, if you buy, the Persona 3 and Persona 4 protagonists, they don't look like them. They look like Mii's dressed up as them. But Proto Man's Mii costume actually makes him look like Proto Man, and that's why. And I mean, obviously, same with Sans, because the Sans one covers up the entire face, and also Sans is around that size. And because it's Mii Gunner, you can give Sans the nest forward B and the nest down B, and that's just funny. Shoutouts to Matt Pat. Either way, but even still, Geno does not have his Mii Fighter costume returning, and if they couldn't think of a good moveset for Geno, making him a Mii Gunner would be, again, a great substitute. They already did this once. For me, in Smash 4, I had a mod over Mega Man that would turn Mega Man into Geno, and it looked really good, but you could even make Geno Mii Gunner, and again, it's around that same size. The face, you could easily make the face actually look like Geno, and I mean, the gun he has already looks really good, and I mean, obviously it's not what I want. I want Geno in the game, but we haven't got it back yet, which really begs the question, is Geno back on the table? Let's discuss this for a moment. Now, I know this took 10 minutes to get to, but let's just discuss this real quick. We now know that there's going to be a Season 2 of Smash characters. Now, what isn't confirmed is a second Fighter Pass. However, looking at how most fighting games do things, I think Smash will go the route of a second Fighter's Pass, but I don't think the rules will be as put in place. For example, in Smash 4, sometimes a character came with a map, and sometimes they didn't. Sometimes a map would just come out, and sometimes it was based off a new map that was never in Smash ever, and other times it was just it was just an old map from Brawl or whatever, or sometimes even Smash 64. This time around, we don't know what we're getting, but Smash Ultimate Season 1 was a character and a map from that character's game, which still fit the rules of Smash 4. The only characters who didn't get new maps were characters from pre-existing franchises that were already in Smash. And most of those characters were returning characters from Brawl or Melee, And the only character, there's only one character that was a brand new character, but was not from a brand new IP, and that was Corrin. Corrin did not get a new map or new song. So if we get a character from a franchise that's already in Smash, but it's a new character from that franchise, from a new game, which obviously no returning characters are going to come in Ultimate because every returning character is already in Ultimate. That means we might not get music for that character. So when it comes to, if let's say for example they decide to put in the new Fire Emblem character or a new Pokemon character for season 2, we might not get a new stage and new music for Pokemon or Fire Emblem because we already have plenty of music and stages for Pokemon and Fire Emblem. So yeah, I really, who knows. And will Geno be put into the game? The thing is, if they put Geno in the game, the reason why I thought he should be put in Brawl when Brawl came out was because Brawl had a lot of cool characters like Rob, and they've already had characters in the past like Ice Climbers in Melee, who are like obscure Nintendo characters that just pop up every so often. Smash 4 had the Duck Hunt dog, and he was really cool because he was like an obscure character who just kind of popped back up. And he's not exactly obscure, but he's extremely old school, and this was like a cool callback to the retro, universe of Nintendo games. A lot of people were predicting that Balloon Fight would be put in Smash Ultimate because they wanted a new retro game character. And what happened is no retro game character happened for Smash Ultimate, period. It just didn't happen. There was no retro game character at all for Smash Ultimate. So Sakurai doesn't always care. I think he wanted to do it for every Smash, but he didn't do it for this one. But for me, for Brawl, I thought, it'd be really cool if they put in this character from a Super Nintendo game because he would fit Smash so well already, and he would be really cool and unique and be an awesome tribute for the fans. And Smash 4, whatever, Geno didn't get put in. And at that point, I was kind of like, okay, I don't think Geno's going to... If he's not in Smash 4, I don't think he's getting put in. But then Smash Ultimate happened, and Ridley and K. Rool happened, so to me, the next obvious choice had to be Geno. Now, but when we think about the characters that all the fans really want, Banjo was right up there with Geno. And yeah, guess what? Banjo is added in now in the Fighter Pass. So does Geno still have a chance? Yeah, to me, I really, again, think that he should have been put in the game since the start. And the matter of fact is, I am really in the camp that Spirits deconfirm DLC characters. However, as I said in a previous video, if they did do a Season 2, the mindset is different. With Season 1, they know every character they already knew every character they were going to put in the game. The characters roster was finalized, and then they started working on World of Light with all the spirit battles. So they already knew what characters made it and what characters did it, which is why Geno got a spirit and why Geno got an online profile icon. And so the question is will they now, because we don't, now it's a possibility that Geno could get put in thanks to another Fighter Pass and or just more new characters in general. So Geno's chance, it has skyrocketed. And I mean, so has Sora, don't get me wrong, and so has Dante, and so has a Resident Evil character, and so has any character you want. They could easily put in, I mean, I think spirits are back on the table, but not for the 5th fighter in Fighter Pass 1. So I do think these characters could get put in, but I don't think that we're going to get... It is... Basically, let's look at the Mii costumes to decide if Geno can get put in the game. So far, with the first Fighter Pass, and let's talk about how Mii costume theory was completely destroyed. In the first Fighter Pass, we had all Sega Mii costumes. Now, we thought what the theory was that every time a fighter would come out, new Mii costumes would come out. We were right about that so far. But what we weren't right about was if they would always be returning characters plus new characters. So when Joker came out, they added in more Persona representation in the form of Mii costumes, which was a really smart move, especially because there's so many fans of Persona 3 and Persona 4. So if you from Persona 4 is their favorite character, then they could use him instead of Joker and just play as a Mii sword fighter. And even if they don't use it as their main, they could still be like, well, I get to play as you sometimes, and that's really fun. So when it comes to the next part, instead of having returning characters from Square Enix, which Geno was one of them, and so was the Chocobo hat. And at this point, we thought Geno had zero chance of being in the game. We thought Geno was just done and over. So seeing a Geno Gunner costume would be fine, and I would gladly play as Geno Mii Gunner. That's fine for me. Then instead, we got no returning Square Enix Mii costumes at all, and we got all brand new ones from Dragon Quest, which there was a lot of them, and a lot of them are really cool looking, so what's the issue? There is no issue. It's just cool. So then we decided, okay, it might not always be returning Mii costumes, but a lot of us kind of figured, well, this one was only for Dragon Quest, and maybe they didn't want to put in Final Fantasy stuff like the Chocobo hat. There's only the Chocobo hat and Geno, so maybe they just didn't want to do that this time. I mean, why would you do a returning hat? But we thought at least Geno would get a Mii costume, so nope, nothing. Then we were thinking, okay, so if they do any more characters, they could be returning characters, and then they could do returning Mii fighters. With Banjo, if we all decided if they did a Microsoft character, then they would probably do just like new stuff. And Virgin had said a long time ago that there was going to be Minecraft content in the game, so this could be a good chance to put in Minecraft Steve as a Mii sword fighter, which, if you think about it, would look really damn cool and would have fit perfectly, honestly. But instead, it was no content from Microsoft at all, and not even content from Rare or Banjo. It was just all straight up new and returning Mii fighters from different IPs. So this was their chance to add in Mii stuff that had nothing to do with anything going on at the time. So to me, Mii Fighter Pass 3, or Mii Fighter Costume Set 3, was just nothing but what they wanted to put in that had no correlation to any other character pack that was coming out later. So what I'm saying is that the next one for Terry might end up being SNK characters like Marco from Metal Slug as Mii Gunner. I think that would be perfect. I think Metal Slug characters are smaller, and so them being the size as the Mii Gunner would work perfectly. You could easily give him his he's a gunner. Like, it's Metal Slug. You just shoot the entire time. So that would be really freaking cool if they put in Metal Slug characters. And then also they could, of course, put in some other SNK classic video game characters. And then, of course, they could put in other characters from King of Fighters. It would be really cute if Samurai Showdown characters made it in Mii Sword Fighters, or even the girl with the bird. She could possibly be a Mii Brawler. And then you could even do other King of Fighters characters that could easily work as brawlers, easy. So you could do that. I don't think they're going to do too many characters who are straight up from fighting games, but as Mii costumes. But who knows, we could see. But as far as Mii Costume 3 goes, the most peculiar thing to me out of all of them is not that Sans from Undertale is a Mii costume. To me, I didn't think Undertale had a chance of getting a character in. Not a single not a single indie game character has been put in the game as a playable fighter yet. And I think that people really just, I don't know why they hold on to so much love for indie games right now. If Shovel Knight didn't get in, to me, he is Mr. Indie Game. He's in like every indie game, and he's even in Brawlhalla, and he's in everything. So, like, he's literally in like every fucking indie game ever. There's always a Shovel Knight's in fucking Ukulele even. Like, there's just a cameo in every fucking thing. So, yeah. And yeah, he has a cameo in Smash as a assist trophy, and I think that's the best that any me or any third party thing can have a hope for. And then Undertale decided, nope, we are gonna take the top spot, and they got a me costume, which I think is probably the best bet. But Shantae got a spirit, guys, and to me, it just means Shantae's not coming. So I don't think any indie game character is going to be put in as a playable character. So to me, the fact that Sans is a gunner, it's shocking to me, but it's not like Nintendo has a bad relationship with Toby Fox or Undertale or anything like that. Undertale is on the Switch now, and Deltarune is being advertised like it's going to be put on the Switch. And Toby Fox does the music for Town, so or Little Town or whatever, the new Game Freak game. So Toby Fox is fucking literally working for Nintendo, literally making music for one of their games. Toby Fox is literally working for Nintendo, guys. Okay, so the idea, like, it's not hard to see why he met up with Sakurai. He works in the video game industry now, and he has a very cult classic beloved game, and he works for Nintendo. So it makes sense that he would meet up with Sakurai and they would discuss putting in Sans. And also, Sakurai has said, I think before, that he is a fan of Undertale. Sakurai likes RPGs. I don't know if you guys noticed this. He likes Fire Emblem. He likes Earthbound. He likes Final Fantasy. He likes freaking Xenoblade. Like, he likes RPGs, guys. And he also really liked Persona 5 a lot. He even went to Atlas to meet up with people and did a bunch of photos with like that fake Morgana and stuff like that. So yeah, Sakurai is a freaking fan of RPGs. So of course he played Undertale, especially since he's a fan of Earthbound. I mean, hello. So yes, he's a fan of. So yeah, Sans made it in. It was still shocking to see, but getting Sans as the Mii costume is a fucking great idea, and I love it. But what I was getting at, my original point was, what is more peculiar to me is the fact that Mega Man characters were added in the third pass, because what that signals to me is a Capcom character might have just been deconfirmed as the fifth character. Now, I thought it was very likely that we would get a Capcom character as the fourth or fifth character. And I was thinking my best bet and my only real good idea for the fourth character was something from Resident Evil, until out of nowhere they decided it would be SNK. Now, what this means is Mii costume theory is 100% fucking dead. It has been completely killed. It is cremated. There is no Mii costume theory anymore. It is done, and we will never speak of it again because it is just not real. It's not a good way to predict characters. It was a good idea at first, and Hero didn't exactly deconfirm it, but Banjo totally deconfirmed it. And not only that, if it is real, it basically deconfirms Capcom getting in. So there's literally even if the Mii custom theory is real, there's nothing to go off of for the last character. Now, I think that a Resident Evil character makes a lot of sense. I think Resident Evil and Devil May Cry are slowly being added onto the Switch, so it's not unlikely that Resident Evil and Devil May Cry could be put in the game. Even during E3, they had this big segment where they just advertised the fact that you can play Resident Evil 1 in a haunted mansion on your Switch, and you can play Resident Evil on the go. And they didn't even advertise a new Resident Evil game. They just advertised that more Resident Evil games were coming to Switch, and that you can just play Resident Evil. They advertised games that were already out on the Switch. Like, they're just like, hey, Resident Evil's here, which makes me think, wow, they must really want to put in Resident Evil in the game, and or want to show Capcom some love. And when you look at Smash, they've definitely showed Capcom some fucking love, because Ken is added in so they basically got a new Capcom character in Smash already, and then not only that, but Rathalos is added in, meaning that there's part of Smash's amazing wide crossover appeal is the fact that Rathalos from Monster Hunter is in the game. So Monster Hunter is another game on the list. Capcom has 3 games in Smash. That is crazy. And I say games loosely because Mega Man, almost the entire franchise of Mega Man is being represented in Smash, and there's so many different Mega Man characters that are a part of Smash Ultimate. It's crazy, and I really like how like X and Zero both evolve into like better versions, and that's the attention to detail with Mega Man X and Zero on that one is just really freaking cool. So I have a lot of respect for Sakurai, a lot of respect for Capcom and everyone involved for Smash for how it's being handled. And I mean, also the Street Fighter segment in Smash Ultimate's World of Light was just beautiful, and even Ryu's classic mode run is just beautiful. So it kind of makes you wonder if Kin is in the game as a Echo Fighter. Does that mean Capcom is not getting another character in the form of DLC? To me, I thought, Kin had a good. I thought that Kin merely meant nothing because he is an Echo Fighter. So I thought it was very likely that we'd actually get another Capcom character, and I think Proto Man Zero might have deconfirmed it. However, you can't even say that, because if they do a Resident Evil character, they could put in a ton of Resident Evil character stuff, and if they do a Devil May Cry character, they could put in a ton of Devil May Cry character stuff for the Miis. I mean, both are full. Like, I mean, imagine if Dante was put in as a character. They could easily put in Nero as a sword fighter. They could easily put in, like, Lady as a gunner. I mean, this stuff... Oh, and not to mention Virgil. But, like, this stuff just writes itself. Not only that, but they could easily, again, if they did Resident Evil, put Jill in as a Mii gunner, or maybe even Claire or Chris, or basically anyone who they don't add in. Like, if they put Leon and Jill in as characters, and they have like swappable costumes like Hero, then they could put in whichever characters they don't include as the last character. Though we do know that costumes can have different voices, they just can't have different taunts. So yeah, they could easily be included in. Now, what we also, and of course, I would love it if the last character included also included an Echo Fighter. To me, the idea of having more Echo Fighters, even if it's like the same price, it's like 2-for-1 for me, man. That it is just such a cool idea to add in more Echo Fighters. So I'm really hoping we do get more Echo Fighters. But though I kind of think Echo Fighters are done right now. I don't think we're gonna get a new Echo Fighter into the next game, and I don't think the next game's happening anytime soon. So sadly, Season 2 is just our best bet for characters. And then when it comes to basically what I'm trying to say is that if they could still do a Capcom character for the 5th character, so what is the 5th character? Man, it could be freaking anyone, but not any really spirits or anything like that. But for those of you who want Geno and Sora, they still have a chance now thanks to Season 2. I just wonder what they'll do for Season 2. I just really have no idea. So I don't really want to make this video too long because I'm already done talking about Geno, and I've been trying to make a video on this subject for a long time now, and I keep putting it off because I have no idea what to say. So I'm just going to end this here and put it out, just get a video out on the subject so I can just move on and wait for the next great topic to talk about as far as what characters I want or anything like that. So again, I don't know who the last character will be. I know some people really want Ryo Hayabusa or Doomslayer. I think both of them have a chance. It's not like it's impossible for either one, but I'm kind of hoping for something that really wows me. But, again, Smash already has a lot of the greatest gaming icons already included. And so who's left could be crazy. So, I'm not too worried about that. I never expected Terry to be put in the game, and I'm freaking happy about Terry. Like, I'm ecstatic about Terry, because I thought fighting game characters, unless they were from a 3D fighting game like Tekken, I thought they were done. So the fact that we're getting Terry is just fantastic news to me. To me, that is just wonderful. So, in fact, I've been thinking about reinstalling King of Fighters on my PS4, just so I can play as Terry on a stream and talk about Terry and why I think he's a good idea, and in what we could possibly see. And I think that's a good idea for a video idea, and I think it's just something fun to do, and something we can do. I can do with my, the small community I have, and with anyone who just wants to watch, and be like, this is Terry, is what he's all about. So that's what I think I want to do next, and I want to kind of just move on from this topic. But me Costume Theory is freaking dead, and Geno and Sora have a chance again. That's exciting news. So I'm going to end this one here, and I'll see you guys on the next one.